express gratitude to the organizers for invitation. Second time I participate at Cernobbio Forum. I have very good memories of my being here 2 years ago. And once again, thank you for inviting me. I came here from Rome, where yesterday I had meetings with President Mattarella, who made a great speech this morning, and the Prime Minister Meloni. During our meetings and discussions, we once again reconfirmed the strategic character of our bilateral ties. Italy and Azerbaijan, for many years, already work as strategic partners. The corresponding declaration was adopted almost 10 years ago. Our cooperation covers many areas. We have regular political contacts. This is my third visit to Italy since 2020, and President Mattarella paid a visit to Azerbaijan in 2018. And the high-level contacts demonstrate that we are very close partners. We have very active trade cooperation. Italy for Azerbaijan is #1 trading partner in the world. Last year, our trade turnover was close to $16 billion. And the potential to grow we see not only in energy sector, but in other sectors. Azerbaijan is Italy's #1 oil and #2 gas supplier. And this also is important part of our cooperation. Energy supplies today clearly demonstrate that national security cannot be separated from energy security. And 3,500 kilometers integrated pipeline system from Azerbaijan to Italy, which is called Southern Gas Corridor, today provides energy security for 10 countries. We have 10 countries now which receive gas from Azerbaijan, and 7 of them are members of the European Union. And probably that's why European Commission calls Azerbaijan a pan-European gas supplier and also a reliable partner. But as I said, the pipeline starts in Azerbaijan and ends in Italy, but en route with extensions and with interconnectors. It covers a broad European and Eurasian geography with a strong potential to grow, because today we are in the process of negotiations with at least 3 European countries with respect to gas supply. But of course, energy and trade is not the only part of our bilateral agenda. We actively work now on humanitarian issues, and Italian Azerbaijan University, which already started functioning, is a great example of diversification of our cooperation. 5 leading Italian universities like LUISS, Sapienza, Bologna, Milan, Torino, and Azerbaijani other university created this joint venture, which will be instrumental in our future cooperation, because the students who are already studying there and who will study there, they will be naturally linked to Italy. They will know Italian language, will know better Italian culture and the great historical heritage of Italian people. So I start my introduction with this important bilateral part, because it demonstrates that when relations are built on mutual trust, mutual respect, recognition of mutual interests, then we see a progress. And that's how relations must be built between countries which are situated far away from each other and which belong to different continents. Talking about geopolitical situation, because the topic of my introduction was exactly the role of Azerbaijan in the changing geopolitical environment. First of all, I'd like to say that the biggest geopolitical change, not only in the Caucasus but in the broader region, was the restoration of Azerbaijan's territorial integrity and sovereignty. which really demonstrates that international law may prevail when not only legal framework exists, but also when you have courage and when you have real strength. For 30 years, our internationally recognized territories were under Armenian occupation, and despite numerous decisions and resolutions of international organizations, including 4 legally binding United Nations Security Council resolutions which demanded immediate withdrawal of Armenian forces from our lands, occupation continued. OSCE created a special group in order to tackle this issue, and for 28 years, this group produced 0 results. So this demonstrates that international law in itself is not enough in order to ensure justice and peace. So you have to have other factors on the table. And in 2020, large part of our then occupied territories was liberated during the 44 days liberation war. But that was not the end of the story, because still the separatists continued to undermine sovereignty of Azerbaijan. So last September, it was the last full stop when sovereignty of Azerbaijan was totally restored, and conflict actually ended as it should be. And this is a good example for many other countries which struggle for their territorial integrity and sovereignty without any success. So in our case, I think Azerbaijan demonstrated that international law, along with strong political will, consolidation of the society, and physical strength can make a serious geopolitical change. So after that, for the first time since the collapse of the Soviet Union, we can achieve peace in the Southern Caucasus. It is reachable. And the latest developments of negotiation track between Azerbaijan and Armenia demonstrate that. We are already actively continuing the negotiations with almost 80% of the peace treaty paragraphs have been approved. We already started a border delimitation process, and not only delimitation but also demarcation. Yes, it's a first small step, only something like 13 kilometers of our border, which is more than 1,000 kilometers, but it is a step in the right direction. So we hope that Azerbaijan's initiative to start peace negotiations will end in a peace treaty which will be not only important for Southern Caucasus but for all parts of the world, because that will be an example how countries which fought for 30 years and Azerbaijan suffered from aggression and total devastation of almost 20% of our territory, how we can work jointly to achieve peace. And the last point which I want also to raise during my introductory comments is that in 2 months we will host the biggest climatic conference, COP29. The decision was made last December, so we had only less than 1 year for preparation. And important is that decision was made by consensus of almost 200 countries. So we consider it as a sign of respect to Azerbaijan. For the first time in the history, COP will be held in our region. And we actively work in order to build bridges between different actors on global arena. Because as we all know, the climatic topic is something which divides countries and peoples. There are mutual claims, mutual accusations. Who is more responsible for damaging the planet? Who has to pay more? So being not a global actor on international arena, for us, I think it is achievable to build the bridges between global south and global north. And saying that, I also want to underline that having active cooperation with many European countries, and by the way, 10 members of European Union are Azerbaijan's official strategic partners. Being for 4 years the chair of non-aligned movement, which unites 120 countries, we can be the country which can produce good results. So these are, I think, all the topics which I wanted to address during my introduction. And once again, thank you for giving this opportunity to address this audience.